Hello, friends. In this session, we'll be seeing a case study of revenue and expense recognition, how the expense recognition works in the system. Now let's take an example where a company pays for the vehicle insurance expense in the current month. Now these expenses are to be recognized for the next 9 months. Now let's look into the system as to how we do the configurations and how the setup is done, and at last we'll check the creation of the AP invoice and creating the expense JV. First, let's look into the product master window. There is a vehicle insurance product which is being created. Now on this product, we will link the revenue recognition field over here. We'll link a value to the revenue recognition field. Let's look the revenue recognition setup that we have done for 9 months over here. Now in this revenue recognition setup window, there are two options available for the user. Either you can recognize your expenses based on time base, and if not time base, it is based on service level base. So if it is time base, you need to give to the system how you want to recognize, whether you want to recognize on daily basis, monthly basis, or quarterly basis. System accordingly creates the schedules, and further you need to, suppose it is monthly basis, you need to give the number of frequency. So here we are saying that we want to recognize this expense for 9 months. Further, the same revenue recognition window which you see over here, it can be used to recognize your expenses as well as your revenues. So both expenses and revenue recognition setup is the same. A user needs to do the setup accordingly on the revenue recognition window. So basically, revenue expense recognition, it works from the AP invoices, and the revenue recognition, it works from the AR invoices, that is the sales invoice. Further, to talk about if this is not time based, it could be service level based. So basically, service level based is used when your revenues is when your expenses are directly linked to your revenues. So it happens that you need to recognize your expenses based on the milestones of the project. In that case, in the service level tab, you can create different milestones, right? And you can give the milestone percentages. So achieve based upon each milestone being achieved, its percentage, you can recognize its expense. Now the example which we have taken up over here is time based, and it has a recognition frequency of monthly basis and number of months in which we want to recognize the expense is 9 months. Now straight away we'll go to the AP invoice and we'll create one expense invoice, and we'll select the same insurance product. So this is the vendor invoice. I'm selecting the doc type. Let me take any vendor. I'll take any vendor over here. Right. So all the details on the header have been filled. I'll save the document. I'll go to invoice line. Yeah. Let me check which product it was. The product was vehicle insurance. Let me type down vehicle insurance. Yeah, the first one, this is the product. So I've selected vehicle insurance. As soon as I select vehicle insurance, you can see that the revenue recognition has automatically been populated. This has come based on the configuration that was done on the product master. Now, apart from once the revenue recognition field is populated, we have got two more fields over here. One is start date and the end date. Now we can give a start date of your insurance period. Suppose, for example, you have made the payment for insurance today. So let's select 6th today. I'll just select tab. So you can see that system has automatically calculated the period over here based upon 9 months. You can see that today's date I have put in as 6th of July, and system has accordingly made the end date, that is July to August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, and April, right? So it has accordingly taken 6th of April as the end date, which is exactly 9 months. And let me select the price. Say we are making a payment of say 3,000 as the vehicle insurance premium amount, which also has a VAT of 5%, and the total amount is 3150. But here, since we are making the payment of 3150 as the total, but the tax that we are paying is the credit. We are already going to take the credit of the VAT 5%. So in our schedules that will be created, we will consider only 3000. Let me save this, and now we'll complete the invoice. Now let's check the posting entry. So here in the posting entry, you can see that your debit has gone to the prepayment account. It has not directly hit the expense account, right? And 3150 is credited and tax credit 150 is debited. So the important thing is when the AP invoice is completed and posted, system passes the debit entry to the prepayment account instead of the regular expense account that we use. Now, once this entry is done, let's come to the revenue recognition window. Now, under the revenue recognition, there is a tab revenue recognition plan. Now here, let's find our invoice. So you can see that this is the invoice that we have just prepared. That is 1005669. That is the same one. That is 1005669. So here you can see that the total amount 3000 is recorded, right? System has also recorded the prepaid expense account and the actual product expense account on this tab. Let's look into the another tab, that is revenue recognition run. This is the tab where the system will create the schedules. So you can see the system has created the schedules over here. Now the schedules are created exactly based upon the day wise. So yeah, though it is month wise, but the system it calculates the amount based upon the exact days of a particular month. So here if we see for the first month, yeah, for the first month, which starts from, that is 6th of July as on today, up to end of July, right? So what the system does is the period from 6th of July up to 31st of July, for this many days, it will calculate the amount, right? And it has brought the amount as 284.672. Now for the next month, that is August month, it will calculate for the full days. So that is why it has an amount of 339. And in the same way, if you see the last month, that is the end of the period, which ends on 6th of April. So there are just 6 days. That is for that reason, the amount is 54.745, right? Now, now we till now we have achieved creating the AP invoice and the revenue recognition schedules are created. Now next thing is to pass the JV entry. Now in order to pass the JV entry, we need to open the revenue recognition run window. You select your doc type here. You select the account date. Now we want to record this uh, when at the end of each month. You just select the date over here, that is 31st of July, and you select your revenue recognition run. Suppose you keep this blank and click OK. System will check all your revenue recognitions, and wherever the JV is required, system will make the JV entry. Now here I am selecting 9 months and clicking OK. You can see system has created one JV entry. Now let's go to the revenue recognition plan tab and again to the, now you can see that here system has recorded the JV entry which we just created. Now let's check the JV entry. Now here a system creates the JV entry which is created as on 31st of July, which you can see as the account date. If we check the line, now system has created two lines where you can see that it has, one has a prepayment account, another has the actual expense account. Now let's go ahead and complete and post this JV to check the posting entries. In fact, yeah, from when we run that process previously, system creates this JV entry in a completed status already. So it is flexible for the users that it doesn't have to make the JV entry, come here and complete it. Let's go ahead and just post this JV entry. So here you can see that a JV entry has been created where it credits the prepayment account, right? So if you remember, prepayment account was debited when we did the AP invoice, and now it is being credited, and your actual expense account is debited now. So this ends this session. Let us know about your feedback about this session, and if any queries, you can write down in your in the comments.